When we talk about the history of computers, we're really talking about the history of Windows. For almost 4 decades, Microsoft Windows has shaped how the world works, learns, plays, and connects. And it all began long before the polished interfaces we know today. The story of Windows starts in 1985, when computers were still mysterious boxes, and the mouse was a brand new idea. And from that point forward, every version of Windows didn't just update technology, it redefined an entire generation. This is every major Windows version explained, from 1.0 all the way to today. Windows 1.0 launched in 1985, and honestly, it barely resembled an operating system by modern standards. It ran on top of MS-DOS and introduced simple tiled windows, not the overlapping ones we're familiar with today. But it gave the world something revolutionary: graphical computing. Users could finally click, drag, and interact visually instead of typing every command. Windows 2.0 followed 2 years later in 1987, adding overlapping windows, keyboard shortcuts, and better memory management. It wasn't flashy, but it planted the seeds for everything to come. Then came Windows 3.0 in 1990, the first true hit. With improved graphics, better performance, and support for games like Solitaire and Minesweeper, Windows suddenly felt approachable. By the time Windows 3.1 arrived in 1992, millions of people could recognize the Windows interface instantly. Fonts improved, multitasking got smoother, and PCs made their first major leap into homes and offices. This was the moment Microsoft became a household name. But the real revolution arrived in 1995. Windows 95 changed everything. The Start menu, the taskbar, and the desktop metaphor all arrived in one iconic release. It supported long file names, multitasking, and the brand new Internet Explorer. Windows 95 wasn't just software, it was a cultural event. Next came Windows 98, which refined Internet capabilities, USB support, and plug-and-play hardware. Then Windows ME launched in 2000 and became one of Microsoft's most infamous missteps. ME tried to bring multimedia to the masses, but was plagued with crashes and instability. Thankfully, Microsoft had something better ready. In 2000 and 2001, Microsoft released Windows 2000 and its successor, Windows XP. XP became one of the most beloved operating systems ever made. It blended stability, speed, and a friendly interface with colors and curves that made computers feel alive. Its lifespan was legendary. Many people kept using XP for well over a decade. But every great era must end, and in 2006, Microsoft introduced Windows Vista. It looked beautiful, but the heavy visuals and hardware requirements made it slow and frustrating for many. Then came redemption. In 2009, Windows 7 delivered everything Vista promised, but better. Fast, clean, reliable, Windows 7 became the new standard of excellence. It was the operating system of coffee shops, offices, classrooms, and gaming setups around the world. But Microsoft wanted something bolder for the future. So in 2012, they introduced Windows 8, a touch-centric OS designed for tablets and hybrid devices. The problem? Most people still use desktops. The missing Start menu caused confusion, and the full-screen Start screen felt unfamiliar. To fix that, Microsoft released Windows 8.1, then moved quickly to Windows 10 in 2015, a return to tradition blended with modern design. Windows 10 was offered as a free upgrade and evolved constantly, becoming the backbone of both personal and business computing. It supported gaming with DirectX 12, embraced digital assistants like Cortana, and integrated cloud platforms like OneDrive. For many users, Windows 10 became the last OS they'd ever need. But in 2021, Microsoft surprised everyone with Windows 11. Sleeker, centered taskbar, rounded corners, refined animations. It brought a fresh look while keeping the soul of Windows intact. Features like snap layouts, widgets, auto HDR, and Android app support pushed Windows toward a more fluid, modern experience. However, strict hardware requirements limited who could upgrade, sparking debate but also encouraging a new generation of laptops built for the future. Since then, Windows 11 has continued evolving, integrating AI features like Windows Copilot and improving gaming, productivity, and accessibility. And now, with whispers and previews of Windows 12 and beyond, the vision of Windows is shifting toward a world where artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and adaptive interfaces reshape how we interact with technology altogether. So what does the journey of Windows really tell us? Every version reflects the era it was built for. Windows 1.0 represented curiosity. Windows 95 represented innovation. XP represented stability. Windows 7 represented refinement. Windows 10 represented evolution. and Windows 11 represents reinvention. Windows has never been perfect. Some versions soared while others stumbled. But every release pushed computing forward in ways the world couldn't ignore. From simple tiled boxes in 1985 to intelligent modern interfaces today, Windows has grown alongside us. It has powered classrooms, corporations, living rooms, and late-night gaming sessions. It has introduced generations to the internet, connected billions through digital communication, and carried creativity, business, and entertainment into new frontiers. And whether you loved a version or hated it, Windows shaped the digital age more than any other operating system in history. In the end, the story of Windows isn't just about software. It's about people, the ones who used it, learned from it, broke it, fixed it, redesigned it, and built their lives around it. Every version explains a different chapter in our technological journey, and with every update, the story continues.